welcome to Voices for Justice. Let's get started. Let's start by hearing from NCVLI staff about the core of NCVLI's mission. So I'm going to turn it over to our staff.
Rights are a critical part of our criminal justice system. It's the invitation of the victim into the system. It is about making sure that the individual human being who was hurt has a place in the criminal justice system, and victims' rights give them that place. It gives them an opportunity to say, I'm here, I get to be heard, and in fact, you have to listen to me. So victims' rights are really the placeholder for survivor voice in criminal justice.
But if you go in with an enforcement mindset, that there's a proactive approach to rights, not just, oh, let's be responsive, but how can we proactively make sure that victims know about their rights and that other people that interact with victims know about those rights, and that we are proactively making sure that victims are asserting them at a time that's of their choosing, and that they have some agency.
Enforcement matters because we can talk all day about laws and what the laws are, but if people aren't actually following through and we aren't seeing any action being taken on the laws that are created, then it really doesn't matter. The laws are just words.
You have an advocate, you have an attorney who can help talk to you about your rights and what they are, and they can help you stop things. If it looks like your rights are going to be violated, they can make sure those violations don't happen in the first place. Or if something goes the way it shouldn't, they can help get you a remedy to make sure your rights are respected, even if it means having to redo part of the process to make sure it's done right.
Victims' rights are vital because we can only say that justice has been served if victims have had a voice in the process.
Enforcement is the teeth to the law, you know, and without enforcement, there's no purpose to what we do.
We see the need when we can't refer victims to attorneys in some places, and you know, we see the need because we work with attorneys and advocates throughout the country. There's such a shortage of attorneys who can represent crime victims that every single day we see the need.
Amy Lou just summarized it so well. We see the need. Over the past 20 years, we have been seeing that need. NCVLI's founder, Professor Doug Balouf, had a simple but transformative idea. Wouldn't the justice system be more empowering, less traumatizing, and more just if victims had their own lawyers? Attorneys to protect their rights, attorneys to ensure their voice was heard. And so began NCVLI. And over the last 20 years, NCVLI has participated as amicus curiae, which means friend of the court, in hundreds of state, federal, and military court cases. Among these, we have fought for victims' rights in the cases against Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Cosby, Kobe Bryant, BP Petroleum, and so much more. We have provided technical assistance in the form of legal research, writing, strategic case advice, to thousands of advocates and attorneys, every time working to ensure that survivors' rights are meaningful, that their right to privacy is intact, that they are awarded full restitution, that their safety is paramount in every moment of the justice system. We have worked to pass key legislation, from helping draft the Federal Crime Victims' Rights Act in 2004, to working on the constitutional amendments that have afforded victims' rights in states including California, Oregon, Illinois, Nevada, Florida, Ohio, and more. In just the last few months, since COVID-19 has started, NCVLI pivoted. We have fought in courts and in policymakers' offices in Michigan, Texas, Pennsylvania, Oregon, and more to ensure that this emergency that we're all surviving does not erase victims from criminal justice. In short, we have spent 20 years putting an apostrophe on victims' rights, ensuring that the word victim, it's not an adjective on the rights. Victims own the rights. The apostrophe means something. Victims are the owners of their rights, the owners of their story, and the owners of a seat at the table of justice. But the work is not done. In the years ahead, we need to redouble our efforts. We need to ensure that victims in every state, every county, every courtroom have equal rights, and equal rights that are enforced. We need to ensure that every victim who needs an attorney can access a qualified victims' rights attorney. To write this next chapter, we need donors. We need you. And that's what tonight is about. But to really know what tonight is about, I want to welcome and turn this over to Andrea Constand, our longtime MC, a supporter of NCVLI, and a supporter of victims.
Hello, and welcome to the National Crime Victim Law Institute's 6th Annual Voices for Justice celebration. I'm Andrea Constand, and I am honored here to be with you virtually to support the work of the National Crime Victim Law Institute. Together, we are writing the next chapter of rights for victims. Thank you for being here to celebrate the strength of survivors and everyone who works so hard to create a space for them to have a voice in our justice system. This evening certainly would not be possible without our sponsors who underwrite the cost of Voices for Justice so that every dollar raised tonight can directly go to programs that advocate for victims' rights. We want to give a warm welcome and thank you to our champion sponsor, Sean J. Riddell, PC. We'd like to thank our guardian sponsors, Arizona Voice for Crime Victims, Carol L. Hepburn, James R. Marsh, the Law Office of Josh Lamborn, PC, and Pickett Dummigan McCall, LLP. And finally, our partner sponsors, Certified Languages International, thank you, Eris Conflict Resolution, and Fa Cochran Vertetis Amala Attorneys at Law. Thank you everyone for supporting this event. This evening, you'll have the pleasure of hearing from several guests, as well as NCVLI's own Executive Director, Meg Garvin. We are honored to be joined this evening by Voices for Justice keynote, Rhea Dumont. She's an award-winning writer, speaker, and actress, and author of the critically acclaimed memoir, I Am Yours. Rhea's work has appeared in Vogue, Ms. Magazine, The Guardian, Salon, and other leading outlets. A spellbinding performer of exceptional presence, Rhea was the 2018 Oregon Literary Arts Writer of Color Fellow and is currently partnering with the International Rescue Committee and Girls Inc. to serve crucial causes and to empower our next generation of leaders. Rhea is credited with coining the term immigrant abuse and has joined forces with the nation's leading advocacy organizations to advocate for changes in policies that affect immigrants and survivors of abuse. Later, we will also hear from NCVLI Board President Jennifer Storm, who is herself an award-winning victims' rights expert and current victim advocate for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And now please join me in welcoming back Meg Garvin.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for always supporting us. And thank you for reminding us about what we're here for. We're here to hear from an amazing keynote. We're here to hear from our board president. And we're here to write the next chapter of victims' rights. So how can you get involved tonight? Well, first, hopefully, over the course of the evening, you can join us in honoring the amazing community that has made the last 20 years possible and is going to make the next 20 years even better. So how can you do that? Well, you can certainly participate in chat and you can participate in the online auction. Hopefully everyone received information about the online auction, as well as the way you can give through Greater Giving. To do either of those things, just in case you missed it, you must be registered, but it's not too late. You can absolutely register. You can go to, and I'm going to say the URL out loud right now, but it's also going to be in the chat box. So you go to NCVLI 2020 VFJ.ggo.bid. Now, the specifics of that are in the chat box, and so much more is in the chat box. So please pay attention to that over the course of the evening. When you do register, you're going to be entered into our Watch and Win drawings. Twice over the course of this evening, we will have a Watch to Win drawing. What that means is that we're going to draw a name from someone who's watching, and they're going to win. You're going to win some interesting prizes, and we're really excited. So please watch, stay with us tonight, and you might win. And as you're watching, know that you're watching in good company. I am so excited to see so many people from across the country joining us. So we have Kathy Harper Lee from Ohio, who has been fighting for victims' rights for 20 years, right? I've known her that long. We have John Fleischman tuning in from Nevada. We have a STOP, the Sexual Abuse Center, joining from Wisconsin. We have the LGBTQ Center from Long Beach, tuning in from Southern California. We have Maria Patterson from Texas, Zoe Eldison from Portland, Emily Tofton-Nestafal from Colorado. This is amazing, you guys. Just think of all the states I have just named. We have Karen Wilhelmy from California, Russell Butler from Maryland, Aaron Greenwald from Portland, Maria Pinto from North Carolina, Mel Fisher from Montana, right? It is astounding to me to see who we have. We have Remla, a longtime partner from New York. We have a whole group of partners from Montana Legal Services Association, Verna Griffin-Tabor from San Diego that you'll hear more about, Pam Johnson from Seattle, Julian David Nesbitt Gordon from Portland, another hometown group, Dickie McMath, also from Portland, Holly Fleming from San Leandro, California. I could go on and on. This is so exciting. I have to say, all of us at NCBLI were really sad when we weren't going to be able to be together in person. And yet, what we knew is that virtually we'd be with more of you. And that's wonderful. I also want to welcome our amazing board of directors. This group of individuals give their vision, their time, their heart, and they open their wallets to make sure that NCBLI can serve victims. I invite all the board members who are with us to chat in the chat box early and often throughout this event so that they can share what NCBLI means to them. And now, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome our keynote, Rhea Zaman. Anna already introduced the amazing things that she has done. In short, what I want to say is Rhea is a survivor. Rhea is an inspiration. And when it comes to writing the next chapter, when it comes to owning one's own story, there is simply no one who embodies that theme, that vision, that goal more. And so I welcome Rhea Zaman.
Thank you, Meg, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight to celebrate 20 years of NCBLI's extraordinary work, service, activism, and advocacy. My name is Rhea Zaman, and it is my profound honor to speak with you this evening. NCBLI's work is very close to my heart. As some of you may know, those who have read my memoir, 13 years ago, when I was 23 years old, I was raped. I was living by myself in New York City. I had just graduated from college. And after the assault, I remember sitting in the dark for 20 minutes in my bedroom by myself, listing my options and weighing the cost of each potential choice. I tried to measure which direction I should take. And in the end, I made the cold, hard conclusion that I didn't have the adequate financial resources or emotional support system to make pressing charges against the man who raped me an amenable choice, much less a successful path. So I decided two things. One, I decided that I would get up, wash my face, take a shower, go to sleep, and the next morning wake up and go to work and pursue my process of healing on my own without telling a living soul. And two, the other thing I decided was that although I would not tell anyone or ask for help, I would use the experience as fuel and fodder to commit my life to a vocational service and career that is focused on empowering and helping other survivors to heal. And so that is what I did. And I didn't break my silence until 7 years later when I published a memoir. And I want to tell you a few things. One, Had I known that NCVLI and other resources like you existed, that advocates and allies like you existed, I would have made a different choice. And two, because of your tireless commitment to empowering survivors like myself, you have played a critical role in changing the cultural, political, and social landscape surrounding the narrative about survivors, about assault, about rape, about abuse, which means that because of your work, you have made it that much more possible and supportive for survivors like myself to speak out and break their silence and pursue justice today. The world has changed a great deal from 13 years ago, and it is because of you. The thing about assault or abuse or trauma of any kind is that it settles into the body as a threefold wound. And to truly heal, the survivor needs to address all three parts of that wound. The three parts are voicelessness, 2, insignificance, and 3, a profound sense of loneliness. And through your work as allies as well as activists, advocates, and lawyers, you help survivors address all three parts of that wound. 1, by surrounding them with community and support, you help them restore their narrative and have claim over their own voice. So already you are doing so much to help that feeling of voicelessness. 2, by being a network and robust support system, you are helping to alleviate that wound of loneliness. And 3, by helping a survivor restore their sense of agency, dignity, and identity and personhood in this world, you help restore their feeling of human worthiness, value, and significance. So again, I thank you. I would like to share with you a rubric I use during the workshops and presentations I hold for survivors, family, and supporters and allies, and I call it the LOVE method, LOVE. Because one of the questions that I get asked most often by family and friends of survivors is, how do I figure out what's the best thing to say and not to say? I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. And so I developed the LOVE method. L, listen. Remember, a profound trauma is felt through the voicelessness that comes through the assault. So, help a survivor restore their voice and reclaim their voice. Listen to them speak their story in their own language without interrupting with language that you think is more soothing or with choices you think they should make. There will be a time and place for positive affirmation and encouragement, but remember to do that in a way that doesn't infringe on the survivor's voice and the survivor's way of telling their narrative. 2, O. O stands for ownership. Help them restore their claim over their own voice and personhood. Remember, a huge sense of agency is interrupted in a survivor's life when they are assaulted or abused. Help them regain ownership over their sense of personhood. Help them feel their agency again so that they can make their own choices with confidence, peace of mind, to walk toward a life of joy, peace, and success. Do not use language that is victimizing or that affirms a sense of victimhood, pity, or shame. Remember to help a survivor feel greater ownership and confidence in their life. The next one is V, venture in. Although it is tempting to pull a survivor toward the path of healing, venture in and meet them exactly where they are in their process. Perhaps they are racked with grief. Perhaps they are furious. Meet them where they are. If they are still in the deep waters of fury, wade out to them into the deep water and stand with them, support them. If they are ready to release their anger and walk toward healing and peace, offer them a hand and walk out of the water with them. Lastly, E, empower. Remember, power is the biggest thing that is taken away from a survivor, and all forms of sexual violence isn't about sex, it's about power. So use every privilege and power in your corner to help uplift, restore, and empower survivors, because that is the true meaning and purpose of power and privilege. Power and privilege misused is abuse. Power and privilege unused is complicity. Power and privilege used in service to empower and uplift others without power, that is love, advocacy, action, and justice in the embodied soul. In closing, I would like to recall the legacy and wisdom of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She has a wonderful quote that I'd like to quote, which is, "Dissents speak to a future age. It is not simply to say my colleagues are wrong and I will do this way. But the greatest dissents do become court opinions, and gradually, over time, their views become the dominant view. So that's the dissenter's hope, that they are writing not for today, but for tomorrow. The dissenter's hope, and I would add the advocate's hope, the lawyer's hope, the survivor's hope, the activist's hope, the allies' hope, that we are acting and speaking today to author a better, kinder future. Thank you so much for your generous support and contributions toward NCVLI's robust network of phenomenal activists, advocates, and lawyers. Thank you for being here. I hope love and peace and health surround you and your family during these trying times. I think 2020 has proved more than ever that we human beings need each other. Your support and your donations are crucial. Thank you for being part of this extraordinary legacy. Good night.
Wow. Every time I hear Rima, every time I hear you, Rima, share, I am moved anew. And when I first had the privilege of speaking with Rima, gosh, it was just Rima a couple months ago, I think now, when I actually got to speak with you and you shared on the phone, LOVE, I thought, my gosh, there are words to what NCVLI is trying to do, right? There are words and a framework for how we can think about moving forward. So thank you for reminding us that together, it's only together, but together we can create a different path for survivors, so that they can find their own power again, and that they can know that they don't have to walk the path alone, or to use your words, they don't have to wade out of the water alone. We'll be with them in it, and we'll wade out to them, and then we'll come back in with them. This is what we try to do every day at NCVLI. We try to provide knowledge, resources, connections, so that survivors have ownership again, so that their voices can be heard, and in fact, that they can resonate in criminal justice. But the only way we can do this is because of you, because of amazing donors and sponsors, and really from all of you tuning in tonight. So I'm gonna make a shift here to our first Watch to Win winner. I'm super excited. This is a fun part of the evening, even though we're remote. So I wish I could do a drum roll, but I can't. And anyone who knows me knows it wouldn't even sound like a drum if I tried. But our first Watch to Win winner is Michelle Daniels from El Monte, California. Yay, my home state. Michelle Daniels, you have been selected for NCVLI logoed items, a Starbucks gift card, and a signed copy of Rima Zaman's book, I Am Yours. It is an amazing book. Really excited that we get to share that with you, and we're grateful that you are with us. So don't think that your chances are gone. There is still another chance for you to watch and win. So hang in there with us. And in the meantime, I want to say thank you to so many other folks. It is amazing to see all the folks who are contributing to Voices for Justice. We have Andrew Lauersdorf, who donated $1,000 to Voices for Justice to ensure that survivors have a voice. We have Helen Mao, who also did $1,000. We have Margie and Jack Nesbitt, who gave more than $200. We have Jennifer Marie Elmore, who gave more than $200. This is so moving, everybody. We have Maria Verdin, who gave $100. Jennifer Brobst, Lisa Zahner. Oh my gosh, the names are starting to scroll really fast. Allie Yang Green, Rebecca Galloway, Cheryl Gray, all at the $50 mark. This is so heartwarming. Remla, all the way from New York, has donated. Gina Lopez, Toby Schulruff, Pamela Keeling. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I can't say where everyone is from right now, but I want you to know that the donors are from all across the country too. And I'm going to give a shout out to some in our own backyard. A former NCBLI staffer who's still part of the family, Scott Floor and Susan Bexton, are on and have donated. Oh my gosh, Jennifer Diaz we have, who has donated. Shelby Day from across the country, who's a former volunteer and an amazing lawyer fighting for equal rights for everyone. It's just fantastic. Really grateful, because the only way we can do this work is because of you. Every donation matters. $10, $25, $50, $1,000, right? Not all of us can give at any of those high levels, but all of us can give. We can give by donating now. We can go to the online auction, right? And we'll talk a little bit later about volunteering too, right? It is something that every single one of us can do. And we are super grateful. So every single one of you who has given and who is going to give tonight, thank you, not just on behalf of NCBLI, but thank you on behalf of the survivors that you are supporting. We celebrate each of you who contributes every day and inspires the rest of us to be better. Later in the program, we're going to spotlight 20 amazing individuals and organizations who you told us inspire you. So our Voice for Justice this year is actually going to go to 20 folks who are inspiring all of us. But first, we want to share a little bit more about NCBLI's work. We want you to know a little bit about what our work does out in the world. For 5 years, NCBLI collaborated with partners across the country to create networks of victim legal assistance, right, to ensure that survivors had wrap-around services. Our job on that project was to partner and to provide technical assistance, right, aid organizations across the country to help them grow, to help them connect, to help them ensure the legal services they provided on the ground in their state were of the highest quality. So we asked them, how did we do? Right? It's always a nerve-wracking question, but how did we do? And here's what our partners on that project, the Victim Legal Assistance Network project, said about our work.
You cannot replace the value of learning from people that have come before us and have already done the work. And the fact that NCBLI was so brilliantly able to bring all of those components together for us is a huge part of why our project, I think, has been so successful.
NCBLI has done an amazing job of facilitating dialogue among all of the networks and, you know, encouraging us to be innovative, go forward, try harder.
One of the amazing things that NCBLI has really helped us as a network is uplifting best practices for all of our network partners.
Without their guidance, without their technical assistance, without their vision, being able to network, teach all of the different ideas, concepts, bringing everybody in together, it wouldn't be possible without them.
Across states, across different systems, nationally, victim legal issues are addressed in a more holistic and meaningful way.
I have picked up the phone to say, my client needs an attorney in Alaska. Can you help? And they did.
NCBLI was there every time, providing us with the support, always providing us the help that we needed to succeed for our client.
We felt connected to community. Our success is not just New York's success, it's success of all the national networks and the National Crime Victim Law Institute.
Among the greatest privileges of this job is getting to work nationally. Oftentimes you become an advocate, an attorney, and you work locally and you have a tremendous impact. And then we get this privilege of like working with folks all over the country, and you just saw some of them, and they're amazing. To get to collaborate with those partners in every corner, to work with them to support victims in every state, we're really lucky. And we are here to ensure they can do their jobs. Many of our projects are grant funded, and we're super grateful for that. We are incredibly grateful that there is grant funding out there, but there is always a survivor has a need that is outside of a grant, that is outside of what a funder told you you needed to do. And the only way we can help that survivor is with you. It's with you, our individual donors, and with our sponsors for tonight. So I'm going to recognize a few more of our donors because they keep coming up on the screen. We have Jane Manning, we have Rebecca Galloway, we have Jeff Dion, oh my gosh, who is a longtime victim attorney. We have Bernita Walker. We have Robert Mao, oh my gosh. We have Christina Stevenson. We have Linda and Steve Thalberg. Oh my gosh, amazing supporters of ours. We're so grateful. We have Katie Bucko, a former NCVLIer. Oh my gosh. We have Jessica Ayles, who we just heard from. Thank you. We have Melissa Fisher, who we just heard from also. We have Amy Stinnett. We have Megan Andy. We have Melody Bassett. This is phenomenal. And we also have all of the sponsors, right? We could not do this work without sponsors because they ensure that we can turn to the survivor, right? That we can do the work, the hard work for survivors. So Anna shared the names of our sponsors. They're in the chat, and I'm gonna share them in just a bit too. But I want you to keep looking at the chat so that you also see their names in writing, because that matters. We have Melanie Kebler. We have Lauren Clark. Lauren, amazing. Thank you. Melanie, amazing. We have Michael Fell. Thank you. We have Nick Greenfield. Thank you, Nick, so much. Another former NCVLIer. Just so you know, once you're a part of our family, you don't get away, right? Please keep giving. Please keep giving tonight. We absolutely need your support. We want to be able to answer every call. Every time we get a technical assistance request, we want to be able to respond. Every time someone submits an amicus curiae request form to us, we want to say, yes, we'll be there. The only way we can do that is if you click the Donate Now button and bid in the online auction. I want to introduce NCVLI's board president, Jennifer Storm. Jennifer, you heard about her from Anna at the beginning. I want to say Jennifer is a friend, a colleague, a mentor, and honestly a hero of mine. She shows how to walk with survivors and empower. We are so lucky to have her leading NCVLI's board of directors. So Jennifer, I invite you to share with us.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Storm, and I have the privilege of serving as the president of the board of directors for the National Crime Victim Law Institute. And I want to welcome you to the 20th anniversary celebration, Voices for Justice. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight and taking time out of what we know is a confusing but very busy time in your lives. I want to talk a little bit about why NCVLI is so important to me. I was a victim as a child. I was raped when I was 12 years old. Back then, we didn't have victim advocates. We really didn't have victims' rights. So I was left very lost and confused to navigate a system that myself and my family did not understand. It wasn't until much, much later in my life that I began to embark upon a career in victim services that I truly began to appreciate the importance of victim advocacy. But quite frankly, it was a couple years into my career that I met Meg Garvin. And that's when I really, truly started to understand the importance and the value of victims' rights. I didn't realize that crime victims had rights by law. Most people don't unless they're unfortunately required to. And even then, a lot of victim advocates even don't fully appreciate how the rights work and how they should be applied and can be applied to a crime victim or survivor to ensure that they have full participation in the criminal, juvenile, or civil justice processes. I was hooked on NCVLI when I met Meg. Her passion, her commitment, her dedication for victims' rights made me just want to do more. I began to learn more, and I began to get engaged in NCVLI. It's really our job to help victims write the next chapter of what victim services and victims' rights are going to look like. At NCVLI, we provide free, confidential legal assistance, guidance, technical assistance, and training to attorneys that are on the ground in every state in this nation, and also to victims and survivors who are in need of that guidance and support. As a victim advocate, NCVLI was a huge, huge resource for me. And there were so many times where I didn't have another attorney to turn to who truly understood victims' rights, but also how to get creative and innovative in applying those rights to make sure that victims' voices were heard. This is the beauty of NCVLI. It's also what makes NCVLI unique. I'm asking you tonight to please support NCVLI. Donate if you can. I am going to make a financial commitment of $500 tonight to this organization. We have an amazing online auction. Please look at the online auction, bid on items, but most importantly, get involved, get educated, create awareness, be a supporter of NCVLI. There's amazing training and technical resources that they offer. You can learn all about us on the web. But once again, just thank you so much, and thank you to the staff and the board and everyone who has made these last 20 years so incredibly meaningful and successful. Now it's up to you. How are you going to write the next chapter for victims?
Could you possibly get a more fierce advocate, leader, and voice for victims than Jennifer? I don't think so. Jen, thank you so much for everything you do. And here's this amazing thing. She was pledging $500, and I happen to know that she just upped the ante to $1,500. So who's going to join her? Who is going to join Jennifer Storm in committing to the next chapter? I know that we have Rebecca Galloway, we have Kazi Houston, we have Gina Lopez, we have Lisa Zahner, who gave again. Just because you gave once doesn't mean you can't give again. That is awesome, Lisa, twice, right? We have Adrienne Lee Brown, we have Jane Manning, we have Kara Poor. Oh my goodness. We have John Gillis. Folks, if you don't know who John Gillis is, you need to go learn about the history of victims' rights, because John Gillis is amazing, right? We have Susan Moen here in Oregon. We have Rosemary Brewer. We have Larry and Poppy Doley. Thank you so much. We have Dr. David Black. We have Lauren Gibbs. It is an amazing group. We have Caitlin. Oh my gosh, Caitlin, thank you so much. And Allie Wilkinson. Oh, wow. Thank you guys so much. Every amount helps us. Please continue to give. Please continue to support us. And a huge thank you to our sponsors again. Sean Riddell, Eris Conflict Resolution, Josh Lamborn, Certified Languages International, Leslie James, Arizona Voice for Victims, Fal Cochran, Verla Amali, Attorneys at Law. Sorry, my thing was moving on me right there. Pickett, Dummingen, McGall, James Marsh, Carol Hepburn. You guys are amazing. Please, there is so much that you can do. There's also another Watch to Win chance, so stay with us. Once again, though, I want to invite back Anna Canzano, our MC. Anna is an Emmy award-winning journalist. I didn't introduce her before because I wanted you to just see her, right? She has done investigative reporting for K2 News and Coin News here in Portland, Oregon, and now she runs The Expert Show. She is an Oregon treasure. I'm excited to invite you back to the microphone, Anna, so it is over to you.
Voices for Justice is an evening celebrating survivors of crimes and those who fight so hard for their rights. In the past Voices for Justice events, the Voice for Justice Award has recognized Oregon-based attorneys, advocates, professionals, and organizations that have made outstanding contributions to ensure that our justice system does in fact honor victims' rights. This year, in honor of 20 years of victims' rights advocacy, NCVLI is celebrating our national community, the culmination of rights work and those involved in it. For every year that NCVLI has fought for the rights of victims, a community member or organization will be recognized in this dedication. We're also reminded through this celebration that no one person or group does this work alone. Please join me in watching this presentation as NCVLI celebrates those who were nominated by you from our community.
NCVLI is 20 years strong because we stand on the shoulders of giants. like those folks that you asked us to recognize and that we had the privilege of recognizing. I wish we had had time to have a day to celebrate each of them, as I said before, but we didn't. We wanted to share 20 of them with you. They've made the victims community stronger, the victims rights community stronger, the victim services community stronger. On our website after tonight, there's going to be more in-depth information about each of them. Please check it out. We are also really earnest in the last honoree. It's you. You're tuned in because you care about victims. You give because you care about victims. You work every day to ensure there is space for survivors' voices. So thank you. Thank you for giving and for watching. So our second Watch to Win winner is Jackie Malaputo from Salem, Oregon. Jackie, thank you for supporting Voices for Justice and survivors. You have been selected to get NCBLI logo themes, yay, items, plus a gift card to With Love from PDX, something near and dear to my heart. It is a Black, Indigenous, people of color owned business here in Oregon that offers curated selections of some of our most adored brands and artisan goods. So we're gonna send that to you. We'll be in touch on that. Also wanna thank so many more donors coming in. We have Peter Jancy, who gave more than $500. We have Ashley Vaughn, another board member who donated. Thank you. We have Kate Durant. We have June Smith. We have Nandita Chadahori. Oh my gosh, Nandita, thank you. And Nandita is an amazing researcher. We have our own staff members giving. Oh my goodness, you guys. Sarah Leclerc, thank you so much. We have Julie Nesbitt Gordon. We have Kathy Harper Lee, who I noted earlier is an amazing person. We have Denna Roy. I'd love to tell stories about Denna. I've known her since I was little. We have Barbara Romo. We have Brianna Lever. We have Mel Fisher. We have John Fleischman. We have Jason Petko-Vick. Oh my gosh. And again, we have Jennifer Storm and other board members, including David Black. Thank you, right? Thank you all. We have another staff member, Siobhan McDonald, who gave. We have Karma Corcoran. We have Emily Tofta-Nesteval. Thank you so much. Becky Sprecher, thank you. You guys are amazing, absolutely amazing. While I have this captive audience, I want to pitch you joining us at another event. We have our annual Victim Law Conference that's gone virtual. It's going to be November 14th and 15th. We are really excited to have it online. We actually think we can reach even more folks, so we hope to see you there. I want to thank Leo Hill for donating, Laura Garrison for donating, Amber Bielman for donating. You guys are amazing. Terry Rose, Rosemary Brewer, Larry and Poppy Doley, thank you so much. Joel Shapiro, right? Deborah Brockman. I am not going to be able to get through all of the names. Cielo Mendoza, Trizava Faith Matthews. There is no way I am going to get through all of the names. I am so grateful to all of you. The online auction is still open and we still need you to give. Give by donating, give by bidding. Be ready to support survivors every day. You're going to be able to bid through Sunday, but don't wait. Put in your bid in that online auction now so that you know if someone's trying to outbid you. You'll get notified. We are incredibly grateful to all of you. I want you to hear from staff one more time about what they think about NCBLI and how they describe us. So I'm turning it over to staff one last time.
If I had to describe NCBLI in one word, it would be empowering, because we create resources to facilitate the work of legal professionals working with crime victims across the country. And the tools that we give them help to create space for their clients in their cases.
Right. I would describe NCBLI and everyone who works here as passionate, dedicated, and smart.
My word to describe NCBLI is affirmation, because NCBLI does an incredible job of affirming that victims' rights matter, that victims matter, and that they do have a voice in the process, and that more of the country is going to be aware of that.
NCBLI is innovative, NCBLI is compassionate, and NCBLI is fearless.
Determined. We see a road, we see a path, we're determined to get down it, and to make sure that we, like, every victim along the way is there on that road with us, and that we're gonna fight for every single one of them, regardless of what roadblocks or obstacles get put in front of them.
I would say NCVLI is the embodiment of resilience and passion and connection.
Justice, service, and family.
I guess NCVLI is powerful. NCVLI is engaged, is present, is listening, is advocating. NCVLI is standing up for victims' rights.
I hope you can understand why when I am asked about my job, I get to say, I have the best job in the world. I have the best job because I work with this team that you just heard from, and because we get to serve with all of you and walk with survivors. I'm gonna ask as we close out this event for NCVLI staff to come on screen, as well as any board of directors members who have cameras, if you would come on screen so everyone can see you as close to like live as we can get. Oh my gosh, and please, everyone in chat, please thank this amazing team of people who work every day for survivors. We are so grateful to all of them, to all of you. This live event is ending. The next chapter is just beginning. The only way we can write it is with you. Please continue to give. Please continue to be a voice for victims. Please continue to be a voice for justice. Be safe, be well, be joy-filled. Good night, and thank you all for giving tonight and walking with survivors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh Lamborn. Thank you, Andrew Landers.
Thank you, everybody.
For all the donated.
Thank you.